Shalom, Israel. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Barakatham for the brothers. Yahweh Shema Elathar Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai for the sisters. This is the Tuesday night brotherhood class. I'm Priest Officer 1000, Shadarak, and we're going to go into our oppressor's criminality, the criminality of our oppressor. Why do we say this? Our oppressor has been oppressing us for a long time. He has oppressed us with the most genius of all techniques and methods and the things like he do. When you look at there's a famous book called the Jim Crow law, not the Jim Crow law, excuse me. There's the Willie Lynch papers. The Willie Lynch papers taught the oppressor taught how to keep the slaves in check. He said it would last over hundreds of years, which evidently it has. Now, let's see what the exact criminality of our oppressor is. Now, they've been running these accusations about the immigrants being very criminal-minded, using criminal acts, riding on scooters and doing drive-bys and all kinds of madness and unlawful things, unlawful acts. Now, let's take it from here. This is a great book. I often teach from it. It's called The Synagogue of Satan, and it's by Andrew Carrington Hitchcock. Andrew Carrington Hitchcock. Let's see. Let's find out what our oppressor does. Okay. Now we're going to go to page 123 in this book. Page 123. The Synagogue of Satan. As you see, it's a bloody shield. They're using our shield as their representatives. You know, the fake, the one that call themselves Israelis and all of that. They're using our shield for their symbol. They've been doing this over hundreds of years because they have stolen what was not theirs. They stole this from the original Israelites, our ancestors, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You see, that's what they do. They conquer you, they steal from you, pillage and plumage the whole place, and leave you in ruins. They take a spoil. Okay, so now let's look at this. Now, some of y'all will understand and recognize this name right away. Some of you won't. So, but don't worry, I'll explain it. On page 123, this is 1902. In the year 1902, on July 4th, Jew super mob. Jew, they use the word Jew and they use super mob. Not just a mobster, a super mob. And you're going to see why when I say the name. Some of you are going to recognize it right away. Jew super mob boss, Meyer Lansky, is born. So he was born on the 4th of July in 1902. Meyer, now you notice that is a Jewish name, Meyer, okay? Jelansky, that's the real name. He just used Lansky, see, because they like to, you know, these fake Jews, they try to disguise themselves when they come to America. You know, they don't always want you to know that they're Jewish, because the real Jews are the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. They're just ish, like yellowish or blackish or reddish. You're ish. You understand? So here we go. Jelansky in Grodno, Russia, now Belarus, arrives in Manhattan in 1911. Meyer Lansky went to Manhattan in 1911. In 1918, he goes on to run his own gang that specializes in murder, kidnapping, and the hiring out of the muscle to both sides of the labor disputes, the capitalists and the workers. See, so he got murder raps, kidnapping, you understand, you know, muscling on both sides of labor, you know, going out there and hurting folks on the labor yards and whatnot, probably on the docks, you know, by the waterfront over there, if y'all familiar, you know, Hudson River, you know, in New York, in the what's that other? I'll be forgetting. I haven't been home in a long time. But let's just say the Hudson River and the East River, okay? You know, rivers like that's right on Manhattan. Because see, Manhattan is an island. Manhattan is actually an island. It's one of the 5 boroughs of New York, but it's an island. Meyer Lansky went there in 1911 and set up his murderous gang and his murder and kidnapping and muscling, right? Okay. It says the capitalists and the workers. Now, as he moves onward and upward in the crime world, he makes the association of the Jewish New York crime lord, Arnold Rothstein. Let's say it again. The Jewish New York crime lord, Arnold Rothstein, okay, at the bar mitzvah, and subsequently goes into both bootlegging and heroin trafficking. Oh, now we got bootleg and heroin trafficking. So we got drugs and booze, drugs and alcohol. All right. He also discovers the money available in prostitution and gambling. Wow. This guy's on a roll. Okay. I guess that's why they called him the super crime boss. All right. When he branches out into illegal casinos, which back then were called carpet joints. So this called the casinos carpet joints back then. 1931, acquires stakes in the Golden Casino and Bank Club in Reno. Shortly after Nevada legalizes gambling, interestingly, just as prohibition was coming to an end. All right. On the subject of gambling, he would state, there's no such thing as a lucky gambler. There are just winners and losers. Winners are those that control the game. All the rest are suckers. And also, the only man who wins is the boss. So you see, that's crooked. That's crooked as all get out already, right? That is crooked. So he got into the casinos. That's why, you know, they had the movie, I believe that was Casino, the movie where the guy played Meyer Lansky. All right. They were in Vegas, and of course, he had a casino. And of course, they had the famous actor Robert De Niro in there. Okay. And they were running the things and fixing it. They had all kind of cameras up there looking at everything and doing this, and games were fixed. And, you know, you be good if you won in there. That's why he said winners or losers. Now, bear with me real quick. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to drop a scripture for y'all. Drop one real quick. And it's going to talk about our oppressor. You know, the characteristics of our oppressor from the beginning. Because we just checked Meyer Lansky's beginning. His birth, 1902. And then when he went to Manhattan, of course, in 1911. See, so you have a lot of propensity to get immigrants when you're a state like New York, a state in Manhattan, where they're right by the water, so they're coming in from Europe, and you know they got the nerve to talk about immigrants here right now, like the Venezuelan people, you know, who got a bad rap already. The Haitians got a bad rap. Mexicans, of course, you know they got a bad rap. They got cages over there with the kids. Okay. So we're going to go to Psalms 58:3. All right. This is the characteristic of our oppressor. The book of Psalms, chapter 58 and verse 3. All right. Here you go. The wicked are estranged from the womb. The wicked are estranged from the womb. By the time they're in their mother's womb, they're estranged. The Lord said so. Understand? This is not my voice, not my words. They're estranged from the womb. They go astray like a stray dog as soon as they be born, speaking lies. And we're going to go back to that a little bit later. Okay. I'm just going to make a quick notation on that right there. And understand, man, this is your oppressor's characteristics. This is who your boss is when you go to work, who the CEO is of these companies, who the president, who these Republicans, these Democrats. You understand? These folks in the LGBTQ community. You know, these are who you worship. You obey them. You think they're right. You think that's the way to live, like them. You think that you should be led by them. Well, guess what? The Lord said they're estranged by the womb. They're not even cut out of their mother yet, and they're estranged. And they go astray, like a stray dog once they get separated from their mom. Like a stray dog. They go astray. Okay? That's the wicked. That's the oppressor. Those are the sons of Esau. The sons and daughters of Esau. That's them. You understand? So we here in America, unbeknownst to us, that it's already written in the greatest book ever written. It's in the Bible. Okay? You don't need to look no further than that. You don't need to go to no Quran. You don't need to go to the Metanesu text. You don't need to go to the what is it? The Anunnaki. You don't got to go to the book of Enoch. You don't got to go to the book of Jubilees. You don't got to go to those fake books. Those are fake books. The Bible has everything contained in it for you to live and live righteously. See, that's what you need to be following. Okay? Everything else, let every man be a liar. Let God tell the truth. Let every man be a liar. Let God tell the truth. Okay? The wicked are estranged from the womb. And I wanted to look that word up anyway. Let's look that up. Estranged. Because some of y'all may not know what that means, what we was talking about. So we're going to go to the Merriam-Webster's dictionary, and we're going to check out the word estranged. Hopefully they have it in here. Sometime the Bible was written in Old English, so sometime they may not have it, but hopefully they'll have it. They'll have the meaning so we can see what estranged mean, because that's what the wicked are. That's what the wicked do. That's the character and nature of the wicked. It says, having lost former closeness and affection in a state of alienation from a previous close or familiar relationship. Okay? And that close relationship was what? That was with his mother and father. Okay? Jacob and Rebekah. Jacob and Rebekah was the wicked's mother and father in the beginning, until he despised his birthright and went astray. He went astray. He despised his birthright, sold it for some red soup to his brother Jacob. That's Esau. That's who he is. Okay? So I was just trying to give you a little backdrop on what the word estranged means. So it says the wicked are estranged from the womb. Let's move on. All right. Now let's get back to this estranged individual called Meyer Lansky. Okay. There's no such thing as a lucky gambler. We read that already. Only wins or losses. During the Second World War, now here we are, World War II. He bootlegs all manner of ration commodities and consumer goods. So he bootlegging the food. He bootlegging the supplies. Okay? Making vast profits. Vast means a lot. Making a lot of profits. Enormous profits from bootlegging all manner of rational commodities. Whilst he is doing this, amazingly, he is employed by the United States government to maintain a labor peace between the workers and their bosses on the docks. See, right by the water. That's what I guess. They were right at the riverfront. You know. See, they also did have a movie called On the Waterfront, and that was talking about the they were going into uh the labor unions and the labor boards and how they got muscled in and how they got, they just got exploited. They got coerced, they forced to do things, they got laid off, all types of things. So Meyer Lansky, you could thank Meyer Lansky, your oppressor back in the day, that Jewish super crime boss who was in the movie. They made a movie after him. I bet you he got some money from that movie too, if he was still alive. There was Casino 1 and Casino 2. Okay. Also in the 1940s, being a fanatical Zionist, so he was a Zionist as well, and a fanatic at that. Lansky smuggles arms to the Jews in Palestine. So he's making sure the Jews in Palestine got guns and everything else too. Okay. Becoming a lifelong asset to Salaki, becoming a lifelong asset of Israeli intelligence as a result. See, that's why they're so effective. You got the IGF, the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force. You got them over there. That's why they got to the heights of their capabilities. Also, of course, with the help of the United States. He shares a dream with his underling. Now, y'all gonna recognize this name. If you follow him, you're gonna recognize this name. Some of y'all are not, but we're gonna put you up on game, like they say. Bugsy Siegel. Oh, Snoop Dogg. I remember he got a little rap. He got a little line in one of his raps about Bugsy Siegel on the casino, like Bugsy Siegel. See, so let's see what happened with Bugsy Siegel. That's his underling. Okay, another Jew. How many of y'all knew that Bugsy Siegel was a Jew? You probably thought he was Italian because they said mafia. Nah, he was a Jew, Jewish. He was Jewish. Okay. Which is to build a city devoted to gambling. They wanted to build a city devoted to gambling. That's a big hint. From where he could obtain untold wealth. So he can make untold amounts of money in revenue if he builds a city that specializes in gambling. I wonder what city is that? Well, y'all heard Atlantic City, right? That's New Jersey. But have you heard of Las Vegas? What's done in Vegas stays in Vegas, all that stuff. Well, Meyer Lansky and Bugsy did that. That's why henceforth the movie came out. Okay. Now, he states, what I had in mind was to build the greatest, most luxurious hotel, casino in the world, and to invite people from all over America. Maybe the high rollers from all over the world. That's what they were hoping. And damn if it didn't come true. That was their dream. Okay. To come and spend their money there. They want all the high rollers of the world to come and spend their money at their made up hotel, gambling hotel, so they could start, doing that crooked stuff. Doing those things that are crooked, lying. See, that scripture says, Psalms 58:3, it says on here, see, the Most High don't lie. The Most High going to tell the truth, but it's up to you to understand it. It's up to you to break these scriptures down. That's why the Bible says, study to show thyself approved. Study to show yourself approved, because you're going to need it. The Lord is going to be looking at you. He going to find out what you really about. Okay. Get back here. Now in Psalms 58:3, we just read it. It says, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray. as soon as they be born, speaking lies. That's the end of the scripture. Speaking lies. Okay. Now, while some were put off the dried out desert wasteland of Nevada, Lansky saw it as a positive boon. He stated, see, everybody was thinking the desert, man, how they gonna be gambling in the desert? How they gonna make some money in the desert? What they gonna do? You know, Nevada was a desert. It still is a desert, right? He stated, once you got tourists there, after they have eaten and drunk all they could, there was only one thing left to do. Gamble. Right. Gamble. All right. Now, don't get us wrong in the UPK. Understand, gambling is not a sin. Gambling is not a sin. In the Bible, they called it casting lots. When you cast lots, it's like throwing dice. When you shoot dice, you know you gambling. Shoot. Y'all looking at one of them, a major dice shooter anyway. That's what I used to do. Okay? It's not a sin. And as a matter of fact, the symbol of the priests who were the Levites in the early days of the Israelites in Genesis and Exodus and all of that. Well, Exodus, really. All right. They would cast lots. The priests, their symbol, the tribe of Levi's symbol is the dice. Look on one of our jackets. Hint, hint. See, that's how you're supposed to know the truth, man. Come into the ISUPK so we could teach you the truth, man. How to really break this Bible down, how to look at history, how to compare history with scripture. Once you do that, then you're on the right path. Then you're finding out what the truth is, and the truth is going to set you free. Okay? So, shalom, Sister Olivia Arnold. Shalom, Brother Karatazar. Shalom, priest. Shalom, Barakathon. Natazak, shalom. Ayar, my man. That's right. Ayar, what's up? I keep telling you to come down here, Ayar. All right, brother. Shalom. A warrior. All right, brother. You get some rest, a warrior. Yourself together, brother. I see you. I see you. I'm trying to look through this chat a little bit. I think that's the last. Let me check it all. And so that's what it is, man. Know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Study to show yourself approved. Understand that our oppressor is out for our lives. Our oppressor has many demons on him. Or should I say them? They have many demons on them. And they are many in multitude. And they go forth speaking lies because they were estranged from the womb. You got Meyer Lansky and Bugsy Siegel. That's what Snoop said. I'd be like Reno, get a casino like Bugsy Siegel, something like that. He said, I messed that up, but that's what he said anyway in his rap record. All right. So you got to keep your eyes open, keep your ears open, understand what this truth is, man. Look at the news all the time because you understand what's going so that you understand world events. It's happening before your eyes. World War III is here. Understand? It's not going to reverse. It's going to go forward and get worse. And when it gets worse, you're going to wonder if you're going to live or die. You ain't even going to know that, but you better be in the ISUPK. But the Lord is not going to take back his words. He said his words will not come back to him void, which means empty. Most High said, my words are not coming back empty. So when I say them, it's going to happen. That's prophecy. Understand? All right. I'm just paraphrasing, by the way, on that note. All right. So, while some were put off the dry desert wasteland of Nevada, Lansky saw it as a positive boon when he stated, once the tourists are here, okay, we read that, after they eat and drink and stuff, they'll be gambling. That's the only thing left to do. Then this is page 1, that's page 124, 125, while Lansky would never obtain his own gambling license in Las Vegas. We're on page 125. History has proven he had control over every establishment he wished that traded there. which is why he became the owner and operator of the Strip. The Las Vegas Strip, that's Meyer. You walking on Meyer Lansky's operation. He's the owner and operator of the entire Strip in Vegas. All right. Lansky originated the skim. Okay, now that's some information I know. Skim off the top, right? You make amount of money, you skim. You take a certain percentage off that amount. Okay. So he originated the skim. Okay. That was the practice which 3/4 of the money that went through the casinos was siphoned off. So 3/4 of that money was separated, taken off, that was made from the casino and sent to Lansky for distribution, leaving only 1/4 as official takings and thus liable for tax. Damn, he evaded the tax. Look at that. See, them Jews know how to run through that money, don't they? Y'all know this. That's why they own everything, right? Y'all know this. That's why the red shield is on this book. That red shield is Rothschild. Red means Roth. Roth means red in German. Roth is the color red. Child is shield. This is not the Star of David. This is a shield. They used our shield. They took our stuff. They lied and said they were Jews. You see, they lied and said they come from Palestine, being pale. And you living in the land that originates in the sun, and you pale, and you claiming that to be your own. Well, somebody got lied to. Somebody bought that Brooklyn Bridge. You understand? So, siphoned off and sent to Lansky for distribution, leaving 1/4 of the takings and thus liable for tax. Lansky also reversed the operation, sending bagmen with hundreds of thousands of profits from illegal activity to Las Vegas in exchange it for the clean money. So he washing up money over there too. He cleaning his dirty laundry. He laundering money. The clean money that passed through their customers' hands, making Vegas a giant money laundering operation. So if you want to know what's going on in Vegas, come to these classes and we'll tell you what's going on in Vegas. You want to know who the original crime overlords are? Come to the ISUPK. We'll tell you who they are. You want to hear the truth instead of the lies? Come to ISUPK under the command of General Yohana that originated in 125th Street, Harlem, New York. All right. This is the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. In other words, knowledge you can use, knowledge that you can benefit from. Aren't you tired of the lies? All right. Now, when he had too much money, damn, look, too much money. I don't know any folks, like I was raised around that could just have too much money. When he had too much money to launder himself, in other words, he can't clean up all that dirty money he's been making, he would launder it by paying it into banks. Oh, what's the connection with Lansky and the banks? Both of them are Jewish. The bank owners are Jewish. Lansky's Jewish. When he can't clean his money, he go to his people that own them banks. Can he clean this money up for me? That's how they clean that money up. All right. These things are important, and these things are very vital. It's very vital to know who your oppressor is, man. Now I'm gonna get another scripture, and I'm gonna bring it in. We're gonna go to Job 9:24. Job chapter 9 and verse 24. All right. Make no mistake. These things were planned. All right. So it says, Job chapter 9, verse 24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces thereof. Salaki. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. So he covered the faces of the original Israelites, who, by the way, are black, Hispanic, and so-called Native Indian. He covered our faces, our ancestors' faces got covered. Okay? Because the wicked did that. Your Meyer Lansky's from back in biblical days. There he covers the faces thereof. Now get this part, because this part is a lot of people go miss this part. Thereof. If not, where and who is he? If it ain't your oppressor, then where? And who is he that keeps you in the ghetto? Who is he that keeps you in the barrio? Who is he that keep you with minimum wage? Who is he that made you homeless? Who is he that made you fatherless? Who is he that raped your daughters? Who is he that molested your kids? Who is he that promoted the LGBTQ, whatever hell community that is? If not him, who and where is he? See, the Bible don't lie. The Lord is not lying. The Lord is not wicked. The Lord hates wickedness. All right. Now, so you know he went to the banks to clean up his money, right? So I'm going to read it from the top again. When he had too much money to launder, when he had that too much money to launder himself, he would launder it by paying it into the banks and then loaned it back to the banks. Okay? A practice revealed in his later years. He didn't let that bomb drop until he was older, is what he was doing. Now, I mean, he ain't let them know. All right. So let's get over here. Back to the book. When he had borrowed money from the Swiss bank. See, you see that in a lot of movies too, because y'all got to pay attention to the movies sometime. Y'all got to go out there and look at these movies. You know, you might not like all the bang bang shoot 'em up. I do, but y'all don't. But you're going to hear certain things like the Swiss bank accounts after they done robbed this bank, after they done heisted these diamonds, after they got these notes and these securities and these stocks and bonds. They went to the Swiss to open up bank accounts in Switzerland because they know, because Switzerland was, I don't know if they still are. I know they're part of NATO, but they are a neutral country. They're not communist and they're not democratic, at least back in his day. I don't know about now. I haven't delved into it right now per se. I'll find out. But that's how they used to do it. You look at any old gangster movie, you know, the good ones like De Niro movies, Robert De Niro. You look at The Godfather. You know, you look at those movies like that. You look at Once Upon a Time in America. That's a good one too, because that'll tell you about the Lansky in there. Okay, they'll say we went to we opened up a Swiss bank account after we robbed this bank. And then I don't know if they say it in Goodfellas or not, but the movie Goodfellas, but also it could be in there. That was a regular practice by any mafioso, any mafia gangster. All right, he would clean up his money and open up a bank account in Switzerland, or clean his money in Switzerland. You know, because America cannot trace Switzerland. Switzerland is independent of America. Okay, so they couldn't follow. They didn't have a paper trail. That's to break down the paper trail. Okay, Lansky been doing this. Lansky was the original, like you know, Jamaicans say, "I'm the original Dandara, the original gangster." Well, Lansky was that original super mafioso super boss. Okay. Now, when he borrowed from, okay, watch this. So listen to this. I'm still on page 125. When we borrowed money from Swiss banks and other banks here, it was our own money. So they were just putting their money in like a roller coaster, run around where it go, where it stop. You don't know. They knew because that money come right back to them. Go on the road, go around, circulate that money and come right back to them. And when it got to them, that money was clean. That money didn't have a homie on it, didn't have a homicide on it. That money didn't have a theft on it, a larceny on it. That money was clean. You thought that money came from an upstanding citizen that went in there and put that money in their account and deposited it. Not so. When it came to Lansky. Lansky's control of Las Vegas did not end in Las Vegas. But I thought that's what they used to say. What starts in Vegas stays in Vegas. Well, hell no, it don't. That's why our oppressor is a liar. Lansky's control of Vegas did not end at Vegas. In 1947, he even helped to elect Miguel Alemán Valdez as the president of Mexico by paying for his campaign on the basis that he makes sure they do not legalize gambling in Mexico. So he want to make sure that gambling is not legal in Mexico. I wonder why. This was to ensure there was no legitimate casino competition to Las Vegas. That's why. He didn't want no competitor. It's always the opposite, like this is an old expression. It might be an expression y'all might be, I don't know. Anyway, it's always been the modus operandi, the main objective. There's a better word for better term. Always the main objective for a so-called Jew to control everything. Everything. Mostly financial. And to beat out his competitors. He don't want no competitors. See? Everybody works for him. Everybody. And unbeknownst to them, they're still working for Lansky and people like him and people of his own tribe, which is the tribe of Amalek, which is real tribe of Esau. Esau is his father. Esau is the father of the Amalekites. The Amalekites are the ancient fake Jews that stole our identity when we got pushed and destroyed out of Rome. Israel was destroyed by the Roman army under General Vespasian and General Titus, his son. The Jews fled. The real Jews, the real blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians fled out of Jerusalem with great slaughter. And this is from another book you can look, From Babylon to Timbuktu by Rudolph Windsor, and he'll tell you the history of why that happened. They fled into Africa. Why would the children of Israel flee into Africa? This is off another subject, but it's still similar because they cannot hide around people that don't look like them. The only way I'm going to hide from a man that's going to kill me, I better go around people that look just like me so he won't know which one is me. So I went to Africa because the Jews are black. Point taken. All right. So he wanted to make sure that he had no competitors. Back to the story. He wanted to make sure he had no competitors for his casino in Las Vegas, this Meyer Lansky and this Bugsy Siegel, which is Bugsy Siegel was underneath Meyer Lansky. That was his second-hand man. All right. This was to ensure no legitimate casino competition close to Las Vegas. Alamo, see, because look at that. Look at the land format. Where's Mexico? Right underneath California. Where's Vegas? To the north of California, a little bit northeast. Slightly. That's all along the line that you can get to. So he knew, Salaki. So he knew that would be competition. Okay? So he had to eliminate the competition. There'll be no legal gambling in Mexico. That's why I fixed this president to become president to go to Mexico and tell them that and make sure he would enforce that. Okay? Alaman must have liked the feel of Lansky's money. I bet you he did. I bet you Lansky paid him a gang of money to make sure that he would do that, right? As although Mexican, law only entitled a president to remain one for a 6-year term. So their term is 6 years as president. Any president come in Mexico, your term is 6 years. Okay? During his presidency, Alamán created a position with no time limit whatsoever, that of president of tourism. Wow, so they made it past 6 years then. So there was no time limit. You could be a president, no time limit. You know, they don't care. All right. All right, Trooper Quadash, Yala, I see you skateboarding. All right. So anyway, that's what they would do. They would go past 6 years. There was no time limit to be a president now, all of a sudden. All right. This was the position he adopted after his presidency, and one he kept decades afterwards, during which time gambling remained illegal. Excuse me, y'all, I'm getting a cold. Ain't gonna be there for long, but I'm getting a cold. All right. Now let's get to the little highlight sheet at the bottom. I'm on the last paragraph of page 125 in the Synagogue of Satan. It says, the definition of supermob was first coined by Walter Sheridan, who had worked as a federal investigator, Senate aide, author, and media correspondent. He defines supermob as, well, what does supermob mean? Because that's what they said in Scarface. Remember they said drug overlord. That's the same thing. Drug overlord, he was a drug supermob. Okay? This is a definition. A group of men from the Midwest, often of Russian Jewish heritage. In other words, you was a fake Jew out of Russia. Because anybody under Esau that says they're a Jew is not a Jew. I'm going to get that scripture for y'all too. Anybody that say they're a Jew in this day and age are not Jews. Only in ISUPK where we reclaim our heritage, our laws, statutes, and commandments, and customs, and culture. We're the only ones that are the real Jews. This is in the book of Revelation, chapter 3 and verse 9. It says, behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say that, Salaki, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. They say they're Jews, but they're not. They do lie. I will make them come to worship before thy feet. And you understand why Captain Tazariak, big shout out to Captain Tazariak about the boot kiss, the podcast, and all of the TikTok and Instagram and Facebook that you put out there, Cap, about boot kissing and that damn whack 100. Damn him. He can go somewhere else. He don't know what the hell he's talking about. Neither is he fit to lead our people. He's not fit to lead our people, which I mean Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. He's not fit for that job. All right. I'm going to read it again. This is Revelation. And listen up. Chapter 3, verse 9. Behold, I will make them a synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them come to worship before thy feet. That's the boot kiss. Whack. And to know that I have loved thee. To know that God said he loved us. He gonna make them worship our feet, which I got my boot kiss. Whack. Let me stop, because that battle is. So anyway, that's what they say, who call themselves Jews and are not. I'm gonna go to 2:9. I'm gonna go to Revelation 2 and 9. The book of Revelation, chapter 2 and verse 9. And if you ain't about this, you get cut. I'm about to cut you. I know thy works and tribulation and the poverty. He's talking about Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian. He know we poor. He know that we work hard. He know the tribulations we going through and the suffering that we have. But thou art rich. And what he means by that in parentheses, he means you rich in spirit. Because you are good people, man. You are loving people, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You love automatically, which shows that you the real children of Israel. The Lord made us and intended us to be priests and kings. Understand? We're natural people that love people, know how to love people. But the problem is we need to learn how to love our own people. We need, if you Black, you need to learn how to love a Black. If you Hispanic, you need to learn how to love Hispanic. If you Native Indian, you need how to love a Native Indian. And all three. That's the problem today. That's why you got drive-by shootings. That's why you got black on black homicide that they're trying to make a big deal out of, but they do it themselves. There's a whole lot of white on white homicide too. You got the Palestine and the Israelis right now. And they ain't white. The Palestinians are not white. They Arab. They come from Ishmael. But still, you got white on white homicide, man. Come on now. Salaki, give me a minute. All right, Salaki, I'm back. But you got a lot of white on white homicide. You got a lot of Arab on Arab homicide. You got Indian on Indian, East Indian on East Indian homicide. Every nation does that. Why y'all so focused on black homicide? Well, y'all doing it yourselves. You're a hypocrite. That's why. You're a hypocrite. And also the main reason is that you hate us most. You hate us the most. So you exploit that. We working it on our people. ISUPK is working on that anyway. We making sure that y'all understand we against black on black homicide, black on Spanish homicide. I mean, black on Latino homicide, black on so-called Native Indian homicide, and any homicide in between the children of Israel. Because we keep the commandments. You got to keep the commandments in order to be able to do that. Then you can effectively help your brother, effectively keep a family together, effectively be an asset to your community. Understand? So that's hypocrisy. Don't try don't try to say I got something in my eye when you got a beam in your eye. I'm paraphrasing. That's biblical also. All right. So here we go. Let's keep going. All right. I'm on page 126. A group of men from the Midwest. Okay, and let me get y'all back to the book. This book is called The Synagogue of Satan by Andrew Carrington Hitchcock. Andrew Carrington Hitchcock. All right. A group of men from the Midwest, often Russian Jewish heritage. Often the Russian Jewish heritage. Okay. Made fortunes. See, they always making that money, man. Made fortunes in the 20th century American West in collision with notorious members of organized crime. See, they push all that stuff up under the rug. But if one of us do a drive-by, which I'm not justifying no drive-bys or no murders of our people, because that is not biblical. That is against the Lord, against me, against the ISUPK. But they got even bigger crimes in organized crime. Maya Lansky, Bugsy Siegel, Russian mafia, Russian Jewish heritage. Okay. They came from the Russian mandated Jewish ghetto known as the Pale of Settlement. Pale of Settlement. Emigrating first to Chicago. So they went to Chicago. No wonder Capone ended up in Chicago. Capone was from Brooklyn. He was a Guinea boy, which is Italian. He ended up in Chicago and ran the South Side Gang, I believe. Get me right. But I know he did go to Chicago because he's from my hometown. And he went to Chicago. Brooklyn. He went from Brooklyn to Chicago. All right. It was known as the Pale of Settlement, emigrating from Chicago, then following the money to Las Vegas and California. Wake up. And Cali. All right. What was up with that? Known as the Kosher Nostra. Damn, that's kosher, huh? Kosher is supposed to be something biblical, isn't it? But here we go. We got the Kosher Nostra. Organized crime. Organized crime. See, this run deep. This rabbit hole runs deep. Thought this was just something, off the fly. Nah, this is deep. Real deep. And I'm only on page 126. This whole book don't talk about the organized crime because there's too much other twisted stuff that the wicked get into that they capitalizing on in this book. All right, so here we go. Known as the Kosher Nostra, they directly influence the movies that we watched. See, that's why I know about the Swiss bank accounts and the Maya Lansky, Bugsy Siegel. I saw that on TV. But some of that I heard on real news in New York, like the what they call that crime they did. The Goodfellas did that crime. It's almost like the Brinks job. I heard the Brinks job too, but that they did these crimes way back in the day, and many don't even know about this. It's important to look up real facts and real information, because you're not going to be able to. You're not going to be able to discern the truth from the lies if you don't. You'll still be thinking that rabbits lay eggs. You'll still be thinking that Santa Claus was real. You still be thinking that you should eat pork and shrimp. And don't forget catfish and nasty lobster and clams and red snapper turtle, a bowl of snapper, and frog legs, which is all unclean. You'll still be eating tuna fish, unclean. See, you don't know these things because you're not in these classes. You need to be in these classes and understand, man. We have to bring our people out. And this is for our people. This is for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Okay? This is who needs to get this information. All right? So, influence the movies that we watch, the music we listen to, the politicians we voted for, and the hotels and resorts that we frequented, that we went to. We went to them hotels and them resorts because of our oppressor. It is a testament to their genius that most Americans have never heard of them. Most Americans never heard of it. Have you ever heard of it till you came to class? I don't think so. You caught wind of it. You heard a little of it. You got a smidgen, like they say, or a little piece of it. You got a crumb. You understand? But you didn't know a greater amount of the truth and how it influences you and how it affects you and how it makes you move in a certain way that you're not supposed to be moving. You understand? All right. So now I'm going to get into some more of this. Let's go to page 128. Okay. Now, watch this. Jew Benjamin Bugsy Siegel is born Benjamin Siegelbaum. His real name was Siegelbaum. He called himself Bugsy Siegel later on. But his real name is Siegelbaum. In Brooklyn, New York. His family had moved there from Kiev in Russia. His family were Russian Jews. They moved to Brooklyn. You understand? Kiev, if y'all know the history, Kiev is the Ukraine. They're fighting right now, by the way, against Russia, so that Russia don't take them over, which I know they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose. All right. Kiev is the Ukraine. Zelensky, yeah. Kiev equals Zelensky and his people. That's where Bugsy Siegel's from, okay? Which is the second man from Meyer Lansky. Both are super criminals with super history, with vast amounts of money that when you a brother out here, I don't care what gang you from or who the hell you are, you say you a gangster, you ain't nothing. You ain't no gangster. Bugsy Siegel and Lansky are gangsters. Y'all say y'all making money, y'all ain't making jack. Y'all say y'all got control, y'all ain't got control of jack. Because the Lord didn't want you to be in that kind of control. You're really an Israelite, and you're supposed to be following these laws, statutes, and commandments. Hopefully, y'all will join the school, man, because remember, we love all Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You know what I mean? And we want y'all to come up in here. Get your life right. Change your life, man. live a different life, be born again. Like the church lied to you and told you that you was born again. The church lied to you. It told you was born again, said that they were, but they're liars too. But that's a whole nother subject too. All right. So he was born in Brooklyn. He's actually Ukrainian. Bugs and Seagulls are Ukrainian. His working life started with him hooking up with Meyer Lansky. That's where his working life started. He hooked up with the Meyer Lansky crew out there in New York, during which time it is alleged he killed more than 30 men. It's a murderer. Okay? So, I'll put that at the end. He quickly became a favorite. He became a quick favorite of Meyer Lansky. Quickly. You kill 30 men, yeah. If I was running a gang like that or whatever, full of this dude killed 30 folks, he gonna be my favorite too. I'm not saying I'm gonna do that crap, but that's who he became, a favorite of Meyer Lansky. All right. In 1936, is sent by Lansky on a mission to Los Angeles to take control of California's $500,000 a day bookmaking operation. Bookmaker operation, $500,000 a day. He went to control that for Meyer Lansky, which included gambling boats that were anchored just off the coast. Okay? Rabbit hole gets real deep, don't it? This was just the beginning with what the 1930s heroin trade being worth over $1 billion a year. The heroin trade worth over $1 billion a year. How many heroin junkies was in Vietnam? How many of my personal friends became junkies off heroin? Like we say heroin in the hood. $500 million operation, man. Over $1 billion operation. The heroin trade. And the onset, the Second World War, disrupting in Europe, disrupted the European and Japanese supply routes. Siegel proves himself by setting up a new connection with, you guessed it, Mexico, from which he involves himself in the smuggling. Following his expansion into the supply routes of many major cities, you got Havana, you got Mexico City, you got Miami, of course, Los Angeles, of course, New York, of course, Philadelphia. The Federal Bureau of Narcotics identifies Siegel as one of the world's biggest dope ring operators. Second one in control. All right. This is mafia. And this is not the Italian mafia. This is not the Irish mafia. Understand? This is the Jewish mafia. And by the way, if you looked at any of my classes from previous, I explained it, and I'm going to say it again. The first mafias were the Jewish people. They were the first mafioso. The second mafioso was the Irish man, and that was by Big Sullivan. Sullivan was the one that ran the Irish mafia after the Jewish mafia. The third mafia was the Italian mafia. They were the new boys on the block, the Corleones, you know, the Gambinos, you know, the Banana Gang. Understand? Sammy the Bull, you know, all them folks was Italians. They came after the first two mafias. All right. And we're gonna come to a understanding, a revelation coming up. Lansky sends Siegel to Las Vegas to help him realize his dream of a gambling city. Siegel takes advantage of Nevada's recent legalization of betting on horse races and sets up his Trans-America wire service as a monopoly for which he charges each participating casino $25,000 a week. Damn. See, they're making money left and right, hands and foot, in the door, out the door, upside, down side, left side, right side, front, back, side to side. They making money like that, man. See, that's when you know you're a real gangster. You making money. You got people working for you on a large scale, not no baby boy hand in the cookie jar scale, which what blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians do is swear up and down they real gangsters. No. Here's the big boys. You call yourself a big boy, learn from these big boy toys that they got. You understand? Take charge of a casino. Take charge of a city, a country, a multi-billion-dollar industry. Then you can call yourself gangster. All right, so fronting for Lansky, he buys into several existing Las Vegas casinos. So he buys into these existing Las Vegas casinos. As he expands, one of his underlings informs him of a desire to go into politics. And you wonder where politics, you wonder, have you ever wondered, and you lived on this earth, say 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, and better, why every politician that says he's going to do something never does it? And then you never see it. You never truly benefit. You wonder why? Well, what about organized crime? Why are they always at the same table? And see, that's so crazy because the media always tells you that. The media tells you that right in your face. But because you don't study and look into it, you don't know what they're really talking about. That's why, and I'm just going to say this, I just forget what the name of the movie is, but he says this guy was in the movie, he was a gangster, he was a mafia, and the politician was there. And he said, why do we always end up on the same side of the table? No, why do we always end up at the same table? Because they work hand in hand. They in the bed with each other. Like they say in the street, you in the car with it. You know what I mean? You in the car with it. So drive good. Drive safe. Go fast. No, take your time. So, this is what they do. This is what they do. Okay. So now he got betting and the horse races. And this is Bugsy Siegel. This is what he sets up for himself. And sets up the Trans-America wire service as a monopoly. Damn, he monopolized it. He cornered the market, for which he charges every participating casino $25,000 a week. Okay, so cornering the market means you control that part of the market. Nobody else is bigger or greater than you. You're the one that make the most money in that market. You're cornering the market. Fronting for Lansky. Okay, we read that. A desire to go into politics. We read that. Okay. We don't run for office. We own the politicians. Did y'all hear that? We own the politicians. They ain't running for office. They already own the politicians. That's why sometimes you hear in prison when the brother says the inmates control that prison. Nothing moves unless that inmate say to move. I don't like to put that with the Most High God, Yahweh, but if Yahweh, the Most High God, say this ain't going to happen on the earth, then it's not going to happen on the earth. If the Most High God, Yahweh, says this will happen on the earth, well, this will happen on the earth. And the angels will make sure that it happens because they follow orders. And we in the ISUPK make sure certain things happen, like feeding the migrants, like teaching these words, like holding camp, like being on social media, like doing podcasts, because we follow orders under the commanding General Yohana, who is not God. He's a man, but he's the head of Israel. He's the head of you Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, such as myself as well. All right. But understand, that's what we do. That's why they did what they did. They were under orders. So I really don't like to compare that, but I'm doing that so that y'all will see the example. Okay. This is just an example. Okay. Because the Lord does that. But this is men, evil men, that give orders that people carry out, that they're in charge of. That's going to come to ruin anyway. It's going to be destroyed anyway. It's going to be as if they never existed. Oh, shalom, sister. Bathawana. Shalom, sis. Nazam, Ana, Jewel. Shalom, Yahweh Shemar, Thaba Hashem Yahushua, sister. All right. Glad y'all checking in. So these are the things that we need to understand. These are the things that need to be put into the light. These migrant workers ain't out there doing that kind of crime. They ain't out there doing that, man. And if you believe that, man, then you's a fool. Organized crime. The real gangsters of this world. Maya Lansky, Sammy the Bull, Lucky Luciano, Al Capone. All right. The next Scarface, to name a few. All right. Those are the ones making money. So when you say you Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian and say you gangster, no. You got on training wheels. Training wheels. It ain't good training either. All right. So that was page 128. Now, all of this is done with deception and trickery. That's what the wicked thrives in, deception and trickery. Okay? So, we're going to go to page 129. They got a long story, boy. Siegel, this Bugsy Siegel, his downfall begins in 1946. That's right during World War II. Or World War II started in 1939. And I think it ended, okay, the war just ended. I think it ended from 39 to 1945. All right. When he is distracted by obsession he has for his girlfriend, Virginia Hill, and subsequently loses control of the budgetary constraints of his latest venture, the building of a casino on behalf of Lansky, which he named the Flamingo. Y'all heard of the Flamingo? The Flamingo's up there, huh? It's still on the strip, I believe. His nickname for Hill, that was the nickname of his girl. He called her Flamingo, on account of her long, skinny legs. Lansky sends Mo Dalitz to spy on Lansky. And when Dalitz reports back that Siegel has been stealing from Lansky, his fate is sealed. A house divided cannot stand. And he was stealing money from Meyer Lansky. So you know you're going to die. His fate is sealed, and he is shot through the head as he lay on Virginia Hill's sofa in her Beverly Hills home. That's how that ended. All right. So that's that's to give you a taste, just a taste, just a little taste of the criminality of our oppressor. Our oppressor is wicked as hell. Wicked, man. Ain't no way that we should be doing that as Israelites. You Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, you better not be doing those practices. You better not be coming up under that, shooting your brother in the head like that. You know what I mean? Although a lot of us are guilty of that. A lot of our people are guilty of that. But this is a regular white on, well, oppressor on oppressor, white on white homicide. Hope I can say that. White on white homicide. Okay? And the real gist of this story was that they were making so much money. Man, you could never, I don't care how big a gangster you was as a Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, you could never make money in the likings of what these real gangsters made. All right? Their wickedness, man. Their wickedness, man, it rusted like metal. Metal rusts. It wears out. It gets worn. It oxidizes. That's how wickedness is. That's how their wickedness is. All right. We already stated that the wicked goes astray as soon as it is born. Soon as they're born. Soon as they're born, they go astray. They're estranged in the womb. They come out of their mama's womb speaking lies. All right. Let me go to I'm gonna switch it up a little bit, but just a little bit. I'm gonna go to page 272 in the book. Go to page, what they got on page 272. Okay, this is the third paragraph. This friend of the court found his luck and finally run out. His luck ran out. So this is a guy, he faces extradition. He was delaying a series of appeals. All right. I might have to go back a little bit. His criminal star rising in 1923. So here we go. Let's go to the back. Here we go. On September 6th, notorious Jewish criminal John Jacob Factor, aka Jake the Barber, is named Humanitarian of the Year. Wow. By the World Jewish Congress. He was the Humanitarian of the Year. Imagine that. And honored with a dinner at the Beverly Hilton Hotel. Quite why he deserves such an accolade is unclear. Yeah. Go figure. When one looks at his background, it's unclear why they would name this dude Humanitarian of the Year. Born Ikov Faktorowicz in 1892 in Russia, the 10th child of Polish rabbi, the whole family moved to Chicago, 1905. His first job is as a barber, from which he obtained that nickname. However, this obviously did not pay the bills. Wow. You can't make this stuff up, man. And in 1919, he's indicted for multiple counts of stock and mail fraud. In one instance, relieving an elderly Florida woman of $250,000, which today would be $3.5 million today. That would be $3.5 million today. It will probably be more because this book was written a little bit back there, just a little bit. I think it was not too far back. It's got a copyright 2006. It got a publication 2006. Okay, so it's a little bit back there, right? Still in the 2000s. So that would approximately be $3.5 million that he got that old lady for. All right. What was that? 272. All right, bear with me for a second here. Okay, so his criminal star rising in 1923. He teamed up with New York Jewish crime lord Arnold Rothstein, whose brother was a rabbi, to sell worthless penny stocks. They were selling worthless penny stocks in London, which eventually netted them $1.5 million. You guessed it, $1 million. A penny stock. Worth just under $20 million today. Factor fled England and was tried in his absence in 1930, receiving a sentence of 8 years of hard labor. England sought Factor's extradition from the United States, but Factor managed to keep delaying this series of appeals. He exhausted in 1933 when it reached the Supreme Court. His solution was to fake his own kidnapping, identify the alleged kidnapper, Roger Tuhoy, in court, who the corrupt leader of the state attorney police labor detail, Tom Courtney, had fitted up as a favor, which convinced the court to allow Factor to remain in the United States as a friend of the court. Hi, friend. You can't make this stuff up, man. This friend of the court found his luck and had finally run out when he was found guilty of a swindle in Iowa. He's swindling. All right. Which netted him $500,000, man. Worth over $6.5 million today. He was sentenced to 6 years in prison, and upon his release, managed Jewish super mob's Stardust Hotel. He managed a super mob's hotel called the Stardust. Interestingly, Factor was the brother of Max Factor. Y'all heard of Max Factor, right? Who invented the everyday use of makeup for women and is regarded as the father of the cosmetic industry. This stuff is big time. All this stuff is big time, big time. Okay. His invention of pancake makeup was initially used in Hollywood movies, as previously they had used in the vaudeville style grease paint. Okay. That cracked very soon after its application. Max Factor Cosmetics are a brand leader today. They're a brand leader under the ownership of Procter and Gamble. That's a big time company. Procter and Gamble, big time companies, big time businesses. Okay, so these are the things that you need to understand about our oppressor, man. Our oppressor is sitting up laughing while going to the bank. He laughing going to the bank on you, man. He just laughing going to the bank. You sitting up thinking that he's the best thing since sliced bread, the best invention since sliced bread. You think he's the greatest, most righteous individual on this earth. His family deserves to lead while your family deserves to die. He deserves to have the good clothes while you wearing rags. He deserves to live in the best communities and in the best places and be in the country clubs and all those things at the golf course. And you sitting up looking at this park like, damn, they at least could fix the fences. Now, as a minor topic, I'm gonna talk a little bit about war and the making up of wars. We're gonna go to we're gonna go to page 22, 25, and 26. Same book. 22, page 22. We'll start at 22. By the way, these are your ones that are out there bombing Palestine right now. The IGF and all of that. Make it known that ISUPK is not for the Israelis. We're not joining any side in this war from the Ukraine to Russia and Palestine and Israelis or Israel. We're not part of that. Those are not our people. That's not our concern. We're going to look on the third paragraph on page 22. It states, whilst the Rothschilds are funding both sides of the war, it's not like America and Russia. It's the Rothschilds putting money on both sides of a war or people unaliving each other. All right. Now look at this. It says, while the Rothschilds are funding both sides of the war, they use the banks they have spread across Europe to give them opportunity to set up an unrivaled postal service network of secret routes and fast couriers. You know, a courier is like a messenger, you know. Yeah, I used to be a messenger myself in New York. I used to deliver packages throughout the metropolitan Manhattan. Okay. They were couriers, fast couriers, and secret messengers. Okay. Relevant posts like a relevant post these couriers carry is open by these couriers and details of their contents given to the Rothschilds. So they are always one step ahead of current events. See, they always up on it. Who controls the media? Israelis, Rothschilds. Who controls the lawyers? Israelis. Who controls the banks? Israelis. Now who's controlling these wars? Israelis, you guessed it. These Rothschild couriers are the only merchants allowed to pass through the English and French blockades. And they use this advantage to keep Nathan Mayer Rothschild up to date with how the war is going. So he is able to use that intelligence to buy and sell from his position on the stock exchange in accordance with that intelligence. One of the Rothschild's couriers, a man named Rothworth, upon learning the British won the Battle of Waterloo, takes off for the Channel and delivers the news to Nathan Mayer Rothschild a full 24 hours before Wellington's own courier. All right. Now imagine Wellington was a general in that war. That's a famous war, the Battle of Waterloo. All right. Hoping to get to this French Revolution. Let's see, page 25. French Revolution. It's an ancient wars, man. This is the bottom of page 25. Sir Walter Scott publishes his 9-volume set, The Life of Napoleon. And in volume 2, he states that the French Revolution, planned by the Illuminati, Adam Weishaupt, and financed by the money changers of Europe. The French Revolution was financed by the money changers of Europe, the Rothschilds. Okay. So these things are not just made up. These facts and these decisions in war, these events that happen in war, they were orchestrated. They were orchestrated by the Rothschilds. They were orchestrated by the fake Jews. See, the same ones that are bombing Palestine right now, that have invaded the Gaza Strip. And you gonna tell me some good gonna come out of that? Or what's the point? Yeah. All right, so Cal. So these things were orchestrated. These things were mainly conducted by the Rothschilds, the fake Jews. These wars, not these events, these wars, and everything that has been happening. All right. Shalom, young man D. Shalom. Y'all about Shem and Shabrakatah, brother. All right. So these are what's happening. Now, have you ever been to like a baseball game, and then you look at the fans and you see they be tripping and getting mad? You see them in basketball games too. You see them in football games. You see them with them soccer moms. You see it all like that, right? Let's see what happened with that. What's going on with that? I'm gonna switch that up a little bit. I understand. See, because this is understanding the characteristics of the man that rules over you, the people that rule over you, your oppressor that rule over you in this place called America, our captivity. This is page 191. Every non-Jewish baseball manager in the United States lives between two fears. They are both describable in a biblical term: the fear of the Jews. The first year concerns what the Jews are doing in baseball. The second fear concerns what the Jew would do to the manager if he complained about it. What are you going to do to him if he complains about it? Hence, in spite the fact of the rowdyism, you know what it is to be rowdy, the rowdyism that has afflicted baseball, especially in the East, is all of Jewish origin. That's right. You crying and get you pissed off and fighting in the stand, up in the stands, being loud and rowdy, all that stuff. You got that from the Jewish people. They started that. Okay. It's the wonder that, boy. It's the wonder about that back in the day. The hell. It wasn't my folks doing that. It was always somebody that was a pale face. Like my Native Indian brother say, it was always a pale face up there getting pissed off and being rowdy. Especially in the East, is all Jewish origin. Excuse me. Select. The razzing of the empire, when they be razzing the empire, you know, trying to provoke him or tripping out on it, hurling bottles, throwing bottles into the field, ceaseless shouting of profane insults, in spite of the fact that the loyalty of the players has to be constantly guarded because of the tendency of the individual Jewish gamblers to snuggle up to the individual players, in spite of the evidence that even the gate receipts have been tampered with. The gate receipts been tampered with. The managers and secretaries of baseball clubs have been obliged to keep their mouths closed. See? If you know the origin of the fake Jews, they're the Khazarian people. They come from the steppes of Russia. They come from the steppes of North Asia. They are originally a very warlike tribe. So warlike that Europe kicked them out. They didn't even want them around. They own people. You know, like the countries like France, Switzerland, Germany, Austria, all those other European people didn't want the Khazarians even in there. The fake Jews. The ones right now that's getting bombed back to the Stone Age by Russia. They didn't even want them in there. But that's how they are. Wherever they go, they cause havoc. Wherever they go, they rowdy. Wherever they go, they steal. They lie. They cheat. Murder. Cause murder. Smuggle. Deal drugs. Bootlegging. Everything. Kidnapping. See, our oppressor is wicked, man. And it needs to be shown. It needs to be brought to the forefront. You're only going to get that in the ISUPK in its entirety. You're going to get that right. That's right, Nizam. That's right, Nizam Anajul, the true beast of the earth. And he's the most subtle beast of the earth, sis. He is the most subtle beast, which means he's smooth. He's smooth. Okay. He could say you the Brooklyn Bridge. Easy. And you'll buy it. You'll be directing traffic on the Brooklyn Bridge. Thinking you own it. That's how smooth he is. All right. Trying to get to this. Yeah, I'm trying to get to this precept right here. This is Psalms chapter 55 and verse 21. Salaki. Verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. He's smooth. You know, Mylansky was smooth. He had to be smooth, being that mob, a super crime boss, a super mob boss. Bugsy Siegel was smooth. And that other dude, Rothstein, and all the rest of them. His words, their words are smoother than butter because they come from Esau. They come from the most wickedest man on earth. They're the offspring of the most wickedest man on earth. They control the earth right now. But for a very short time. But war was in his heart. The heart is the mind. In the Bible, the heart is the mind. Okay? War was in his mind. He talking smooth? He wants a war. That's why the Rothschilds funded both sides of that war. Okay? His words were softer than oil. Y'all know oil is soft. You slip slide, you might fall. You could fall walking on oil. Yet they were drawn swords. They were drawn swords. He already drew his sword out on you. He already drew that sword, and he's ready coming for your life. But he being real smooth. He being real subtle. It's like the sister said, a true beast of the earth. Like Sister Anna Jules said, a real, true beast. He was the most subtle beast. He was the most subtle among the beasts. And when the Lord said beasts, the Lord meant man. In the Bible, sometimes they refer to man as the beasts. Okay. So that's what happens when you at a baseball game and wonder why you over there fighting with somebody and tangling up with them in the stands and getting beat up or beat somebody up in the stands. All that come from the Jewish origin, just like gangsters come from Jewish origin. So when you calling yourself out here, calling yourself that gangster doing that, you're following your oppressor. You got it from your oppressor. Okay. I wanted to hit on something else here. I think I already did 289. Oh yeah, we can't forget. Those of us who know the Genovese family. Those was Italians too. This is I'm reading from page 288. On November 2nd, so like on November 21st, 84, the MGM Grand employees and guests were killed and 650 were injured in a fire that a sprinkler system could have avoided. This is a fire that, you had a sprinkler system, it would have been avoided. You could have avoided that fire. But 650 had to get injured and some had to get killed. Unfortunately, this was not possible as its owner, a Jew, Kikor, aka Kirk Kikorian, had opened the hotel on December 5th, 1973. One day before a new code came in force, which was made the installation of the fire suppression sprinklers mandatory. So they had a new code. They made them the sprinklers. They became mandatory. I guess, but not before that fire. Kikorian had purchased numerous Las Vegas hotels in his time, including the Hilton International, Mandalay Bay, the MGM Grand, and the Mirage. And in 2008, Forbes magazine estimate estimated his net worth was to be 16 billion. Early in his career, he was linked to the Genovese family. Salaki, the Genovese crime family, via telephone wiretaps. So he's linked with the mob. Salaki, give me a second. Okay. Sorry for that back. So he was linked up with the Genovese crime family, via telephone wiretaps. The MGM Grand, where the fire occurred, now known as Caesars Entertainment Bally's, which I visited, and whilst researching the book in May 2011, whereas I failed to discover so much that a plaque honoring the victim's memory, I honor it here. Okay, so the author of this book visited that place and honors the victims. Okay. So if you'll notice that there's a big comparison. There's a big comparison with crime, with these casinos, with the fake Jews, with the Russians, all right, the Italians, the Irish. I didn't go into the Irish, mob families. Sullivan was one of the first leaders of the Irish mafia, which is down in Hell Kitchen in New York. That's in Manhattan. I think that's the Lower East Side. So that's where that's where they originate. These are some of the acts that they did. Heinous acts, murder, So I'm going to go to John chapter 8 and verse 44. John chapter 8 and verse 44. And it reads, "Ye are of your father, the devil, and the lusts of your father ye will do." You're going to do the lusts of your father, the devil. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode, which means lived, not in the truth. So he didn't live in the truth. He was a murderer. Your father, oppressor, your dad. Because there is no truth in him. When he speak, Salaki, when he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own. For he is a liar and the father of it. Now, who was saying these words? It's John 8:44. That was Christ saying these words about our oppressor, the father of lies. Yeah, that's right, sis. The father of lies. You can't believe these words he say. Our so-called native Indian brothers say that the oppressor speaketh with a forked tongue. He didn't say it in exact words, but he did use forked tongue, which means his tongue goes all over the place when he's speaking. He don't got one tongue to tell the truth. I'm trying to get on camera. He got many tongues. speaks with a forked tongue, which means he's a liar, generally speaking. So-called Native Indians knew this. They knew that because he broke every peace treaty that he ever had with them. He had peace treaties. He broke every single peace treaty that he had with the so-called Native Indians. That's a liar. Christ said he speaketh lies. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own. He's a father of lies. You understand? That's where you at when you listen. You waiting for the Democratic convention and the Republican convention, and you waiting for all these things to happen. Who gonna be the next president? What they gonna do? Who gonna do this? Who gonna do that? They never did what they said they was gonna do from the beginning. Way, way, way back. It never happened. And if it did happen, it happened for them. It didn't happen for you. If you Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, you didn't see nothing of that. Only thing you saw was Obamacare or something like that, which wasn't even, wasn't even nothing. That was a grunting. It was nothing. No time have we gotten any money. And don't be talking about no reparations. You ain't getting no reparations. They ain't repairing nothing, but they're going to give Germany some reparations. Germany got some reparations. Japan got reparations. The Afghanis in this country that came from their country got some reparations. Even if it was meager, the Ukrainians got some reparations and some support, hella support. The Israelis got some hella support. What you got? So-called Black man, so-called Hispanic man, so-called Native Indian man. What did you get? No. So anyway, let's get to this other part here. So he was backed by the Genovese family. See what else I got here. They did have a law of return. They called it the law of return. So if you committed a crime and you could connect your family back to Israelis, to Israelis and Palestine and all that, they wouldn't let you extradite it back to America. They save you if you could do it. This was this dude named Ellis Abulazim. I don't know if I pronounced yet. Ellis Abulazam. He had a 3-month stabbing spree. He stabbed people for 3 months, just stabbing them up. 5 people were dead, 13 wounded in Michigan, and he used that to his advantage. He used that little clause that they had. That's right, Barthawana sis. They ain't never gonna get nothing. We ain't never gonna get nothing from these people. That's why we have to wait upon Yahweh, the Most High God Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, to get our retribution, to get our land back that they over there bombing each other about, to get ours back. You understand? That's why we got to get it from the Lord. That's why the Lord gonna have the heathens bring us into our land. Gonna bring us back home. Ancient Palestine is our home. That's your home, Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. So-called Native Indian man. That's your real home. We're gonna go back to our home. And the Lord, the world is gonna bear witness that the Lord have done it. You understand? These wars are about us. And if you're just sitting up watching Cat Williams and watching Power and any other show they got on, you're wasting time. You're not looking into the matter of your people, Israel, the real Israel, Yashra Allah in the Hebrew. You need to look into Yashra Allah, your people. You need to be a brother to your brother and a sister to your sister. All right. Exactly, that's right. That is what real justice looks like. We're going to get that. That's right, sis. We're going to get that. You understand? We're going to get that back. We're going to come out of this captivity that we're in right now in America with great substance. The Lord going to make sure we ain't broke. We ain't going to be broke. Ain't going to be no time for no more being broke no more. Ain't going to be no time for a man can't have his land and sit in his own vineyard and drink his own wine and eat his own damn lamb. You understand? Ain't going to be no time where we not going to have that. We're going to have that. We're going to have these $1 million homes. We're going to be living in them. And our oppressor going to be out there looking at it. But our oppressor going to be on there working them fields that we have. Try to get, I ain't going to try. I'm going to get this one that says, I looked at 3. Now, see, this is another part of your the characteristics of your oppressor. This is Revelation chapter 3 and verse 9. Behold, I will make them a synagogue of Satan. That's the name of this book. See, sometimes the truth comes out, but you don't really get to see the truth or hear the truth unless you come into this school. This book is called The Synagogue of Satan, written by Andrew Carrington Hitchcock. Andrew Carrington Hitchcock. It has a shield on it, but it's blood dripping off that shield. And that's all that oppressor's good for, blood. Revelation 3:9. Behold, I will make them a synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. They're lying. They're not Jews. They're lying. They're from Russia. They're from Kiev, which is the Ukraine. They're from Poland. Understand? Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, to know that I have loved thee. See, I already went through this scripture, but I said it again so that you know. Not only is the boot kissing real, and the boot kissing is right and exact in the ISUPK, but that's the synagogue of Satan, man. Them fake Jews. Them the ones running around with your name, with your shield, this shield right here. The ones that we wear, that we carry, that we do relish, because this is the house of David, Dawadah in the Hebrew. And this is the symbol of Yashra Allah, the real Yashra Allah, the Black Hispanics and Native Indians of this land, of this earth. Understand that. They lie. So that part needs to be taken into advantage and to fruition, so that you understand what's going on, so you can see and hear what's going on in this truth and in this world, in current events, in former times and past, you know, because the past is very important. Deuteronomy 32 and verse 7 states this: remember the days of old, consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee, thy elders, and they will tell thee. Verse 8, when the Most High divided the nations and their inheritance. Salaki, divided the nations their inheritance. When he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. Real Israel, not the synagogue of Satan. Understand? He set the boundaries to the number of our people, not them other folks, man. Not them folks out there fighting in a land that's not theirs. We the ones that's got to be set back into our land. We are the ones that need a savior. Yahushua, Christ. Yahushua, the savior. Understand? Yahushua Yashima. I mean, Mayashah. Salaki. Mashiach. Salaki. Mashiach. We need that savior. We need somebody to come and save us from ourselves, man. But we out here doing a whole lot of dirt and evil out here. And we need to be, and I'm not talking about us brothers in the UPK or us sisters. I'm talking about us brothers, the sisters in the world, our people in the world, doing what they're doing and thinking everything's going to be all right when it is not. Okay? You need to be following these laws, statutes, and commandments. You need to come into the ISUPK under the Commander General Yohana. You need to stop eating that unclean meat. Stop celebrating them fake holidays. You got to stop practicing them pagan ways. You understand? Them pagan ways is going to get you killed. It's going to get you unalived. That's what it's going to do. In those days, in that time. And in the latter days as well. We ought to remember everything from the past. Meyer Lansky was born in 1902. 1902. Probably dead now. But you need to know what he did during that time. You wouldn't even be going to Vegas if it wasn't for Meyer Lansky. I'm not saying that was a good thing to go to Vegas. You understand? And I mean for the gambling and all the immorality and all the sexual deviancy that goes up over there. That's what I'm talking about. All right. So we need to understand this. Okay. And brother, I don't know who you are, but you don't know who Yahweh Shai is. You need to keep coming to class and maybe you learn something. And maybe you get this truth, man. You're full of lies. You understand? Yahweh Shai is our king. He's the king of Israel. He's from the tribe of Judah. Understand that. He is a so-called Negro. He is the son of Joseph from the tribe of Yahwadah in the Hebrew. And I doubt if you know any Hebrew. You need to check yourself. So with that, brothers and sisters, I'm going to say shalom.